Hi, I'm Carol O'Mara, horticulture entomologist with Colorado State University Extension here in Boulder County. If you've been trying to protect your squash plants from little invaders like cucumber beetles and flea beetles, and you've been using floating row covers, you might not be getting the pollination that you need in order to set a really good crop of winter squash. If you're concerned about not having enough pollinators visit your crop and you really want to make sure that you have enough winter squash to see you through the off-season, you can go ahead and take the place of these pollinators yourself by learning just a little bit about squash love. Squashes have two different types of flowers. You can see here, this is the male flower. It's got a stem all the way up to the flower. This is the stalk that the flower is held on. And when you look inside, you can see that it's holding these anthers, the pollen-containing structures, nice and proud inside the flower. But take a look at the females, and you'll see that they have the squash, the developing squash, right behind the open flower. Squashes will have both male and female flowers, and it's to our advantage to learn how to pollinate them. What you want to do is simple. Go ahead and pick a nice, calm part of the day, put on a little Barry White music, and maybe pour yourself a glass of wine. Then pluck that male off of the stem and gently peel back the petals of the flower. We don't need those anymore because we've already been attracted to this flower, and we want to expose all of the pollen within this flower. Set that aside, and what you have now is a painter's brush of pollen that you can use in order to gently tickle these females with a little bit of pollen. The trick to doing this is not be a brute about it. You want to think like an insect and gently walk inside of the flower itself. So you simply open her up and you have your painter brush and you walk around just like this with your painter's brush, getting just a little bit of pollen on it. You can gently tap or you can lightly wipe, but in general, you just want to be able to cover this cap. Then you can move on. You should probably keep changing your male flowers. There's plenty of them, easily more than the females, so that you're always having a fresh source of pollen, because it is kind of hard to tell whether or not you've deposited any on her or not. Once these flowers have faded and closed up like this, you can see the difference in these two females right here. This one is slightly larger. The flower is already spent. This is on its way to developing into a nice table acorn squash. This one soon after, because we've taken the place of the pollinators and we can close that floating row cover back over or be ensured that we've made a little bit of a difference in our garden for what we're going to harvest in winter. I'm Carol O'Mara, helping you to garden.